Ladies and gentlemen, buckle up, because today we've got one of the biggest updates in the crypto world, especially for XRP holders. What just happened with the SEC and Ripple could completely change the future of digital assets. I want you to stick with me until the very end of this video, because not only will we talk about the SEC's shocking move on crypto ETFs, but we'll also dive deep into Ripple's massive partnership with a trillion-dollar financial giant, what this means for the XRP ledger, and how the market is preparing for what could be the next explosive cycle. So grab your coffee, smash that like button, it's free by the way, and let's jump right into it. Out of nowhere, the SEC has approved a generic listing standard that essentially clears the path for spot crypto ETFs to launch without going through the usual exhausting process under the 1933 Securities Act. Instead, as long as the crypto has futures on Coinbase, it qualifies. This may sound complicated, but here's the translation. If your crypto is listed on Coinbase with futures trading, it now has a direct path to a spot ETF. That means XRP spot ETFs could finally be on the table. This is huge. For years, XRP has been caught in regulatory battles, sidelined while Bitcoin and Ethereum dominated ETF discussions. And now, the floodgates may have just opened. Coinbase has suddenly become the gatekeeper for ETFs, not the SEC itself. That's a major power shift in the industry. And here's where it gets exciting. Funds like Grayscale's digital large cap, which already include Bitcoin, Ethereum, XRP, Solana, and Cardano, could now see ETF approvals. This is the kind of development that transforms crypto from a speculative playground into a true financial market. Yet strangely, the broader market hasn't fully reacted. Prices haven't skyrocketed, at least not yet. But historically, we know what happens when the engine used to be sinks in, a delayed but powerful rally. Now let's move on to Ripple's big announcement, which may be even more important long-term. Ripple has just revealed a groundbreaking partnership with DBS Bank of Singapore and Franklin Templeton, the trillion-dollar investment giant. Together, they are building a new platform for on-chain markets powered by the XRP ledger. The idea? Investors will be able to use Ripple's RLUSD stablecoin to access tokenized versions of Franklin Templeton's money market funds. Think about that for a second. We're talking about taking one of the most trusted names in traditional finance and bringing it directly into the XRP ecosystem. Not only does this create a secondary market for tokenized assets, but it also opens liquidity channels that previously didn't exist. Ripple President Monica Long explained it perfectly. To tokenize financial assets successfully, you need two things: liquidity in secondary markets and utility for those tokenized assets. That's exactly what Ripple, DBS, and Franklin Templeton are building. And here's why this matters. Tokenization of real-world assets has been a buzzword for years, but until now, it's been more of a concept than a reality. Suddenly, we're seeing it become real, with the XRP ledger at the center. We've also heard similar goals from BlackRock's CEO, the head of Nasdaq, and other financial titans. Ripple has gone from being sued by the SEC and treated like an outsider to sitting at the table with the biggest financial players in the world. This is a complete 180-degree turnaround in just 1 year. To put this in perspective, let's rewind exactly 1 year. On September 18, 2024, XRP was trading at just 59 cents. Fast forward to today, and XRP is sitting around $3.09 after peaking at $3.60 not long ago. That's a staggering 428% gain in just 12 months. Now sure, XRP has pulled back a little from its peak, but think about where we were a year ago. The SEC lawsuit was still casting a shadow. Ripple wasn't at the table with regulators, and partnerships with trillion-dollar companies? That wasn't even a thought. Fast forward to now, and everything has changed. This is why it's so important not to get lost in short-term price action. Yes, XRP pulled back from its recent highs, but the bigger picture shows an incredible transformation. Markets, like life, move in waves. Just like in relationships, there are times of high energy, excitement, and love, and times where things feel flat or even frustrating. But when you zoom out, the journey tells the real story. XRP's journey from 59 cents to over $3 in just a year shows how resilience and patience pay off. If you've been in crypto long enough, you know the feeling of watching prices dip after a run, wondering if you should sell or regretting not buying more. But history shows us something clear. The best opportunities usually appear when the market feels the most uncertain. Think back to last year, when the total crypto market cap dipped to $2.3 trillion. Anyone buying then is now sitting on strong gains. On the other hand, people who bought at the peaks often had to wait years just to break even. It's a tough lesson, but it's one that repeats in every cycle. The smart money buys when fear is high and the market feels dull. Now, let's bring it back to the present. XRP and the entire crypto market are sitting at an important crossroads. The SEC's sudden approval of the generic ETF listing standard could unlock billions of dollars in institutional demand. Ripple's partnership with DBS Bank and Franklin Templeton demonstrates that traditional finance is ready to use XRP ledger technology in real markets. These are not small developments. They are signals that the crypto industry is maturing, and XRP is positioned at the center of this transformation. Look at the broader market. Bitcoin recently climbed from 107,000 to 117,000, reaching levels not seen since August. Ethereum ran from 2,000 to nearly 5,000 earlier this year, before consolidating. And yet, we're still in what many analysts consider the early stages of this cycle. Some call it Phase 3, where the largest cap coins pump first, followed by mid-caps and small caps. We've seen this pattern before. The money flows from Bitcoin into Ethereum, then into altcoins with strong fundamentals, and finally, into riskier assets. If history repeats, we could be right on the edge of what people call alt season, where projects like XRP not only reclaim previous highs, but push into new territory. Add to that the halving cycle and the typical 4-year rhythm of crypto markets, and the timing couldn't be better. Of course, no video like this would be complete without a reminder. None of this is financial advice. Always do your own research and make decisions that fit your own risk tolerance. The crypto market is exciting but volatile, and while the upside potential is massive, the risks are always real. Still, when you connect the dots, the SEC finally giving clarity to ETFs, Ripple signing trillion-dollar partnerships, tokenization of real-world assets moving from concept to reality, and XRP's incredible price performance over the last year, it paints a picture that is hard to ignore. We're not just witnessing price moves, we're watching an entirely new financial system being built in real time. And here's the key. The average investor doesn't see it yet. That's why the market hasn't exploded immediately after this news. But when the reality sets in, when institutional investors realize they can get XRP exposure through ETFs, when money market funds run on the XRP ledger, when partnerships with banks and trillion-dollar companies go live, the value locked into this ecosystem will look nothing like what we see today. So, the next time you feel uncertain because XRP pulled back a few cents, or the market feels boring, zoom out. Remember that 1 year ago, XRP was 59 cents. Today, it's over $3. Remember that Ripple went from fighting for survival to building the next phase of financial markets. And remember that often, the best gains are made by those who stay patient when others panic. As we head into the final months of this year, keep your eyes on the bigger picture. Watch how ETFs unfold. Watch how Ripple's partnerships deliver real utility. Watch how tokenization becomes the buzzword that turns into actual adoption. And don't underestimate the power of history repeating itself, especially in crypto markets. So as always, thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and drop a comment below. Let me know your thoughts on Ripple's latest moves and where you think XRP will be heading next. Stay safe, stay smart, and like I always say, let's make a lot of money.